Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the video, welcome to the stream. We have some massive news. Ladies and gentlemen, we have some massive news, okay? So sit back, relax, grab yourself a beverage. Bro, there's gonna be 18 gyms in Sword and Shield. 18! Do you understand? 18! That is ludicrous. That is literally insane. That is the best thing. They could literally, I don't care about the Pokédex anymore. I literally don't care about the Pokédex. I literally don't care. You just made me love this game. You just made me love this game. Literally, this is what I wanted. This is exactly what I wanted. I don't care. I don't care about Pokédex. I don't care if Bralum is in the game. This is what I wanted. This is literally sort of shit. Content, my dude. Content, okay? This is amazing. Bro, this is amazing. Even if there's only 12 types of gyms, this is still amazing. You know what I mean? This is still freaking awesome. This is still freaking awesome. This is literally still freaking awesome. I don't know what to say, man. This is amazing. Oh man, this is amazing. I don't even care about that, dude. Yeah, I don't care. I've got no complaints. Game Freak, I freaking love you. I have no complaints. Dude, this game is gonna be so amazing, dude. I am so ready for this right now. You guys don't even understand. Bro, this is gonna be insane. Dude, this is gonna be insane. Literally insane. I don't even know what to say, man. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, so let's read what they've been posting here. So let's go from the start, okay? Let's go from the start with Game Informer, because there's been a lot of stuff. From where they have the info from Game Freak, I'm not really sure. So let's start from the beginning, though. So our November cover story is Pokemon Sword and Shield. To celebrate, we not only have 3 different covers, but we'll also be publishing new information about Sword and Shield every 15 minutes for the next hour and a half. Now, that was posted 2 hours ago, so I think they're done with posting info. I think there's nothing else they should really post. So let's go through everything they've been giving us so far, guys. Let's go through everything we've been given so far by these guys. I think there's some stuff also missing that's like hidden for, like, you know, behind payments or whatever. But I know Cerebi won't be posting that, so let's go through here. So November cover revealed Pokemon Sword and Shield. So, fans of the long-requested mainline Pokemon RPG on consoles, after remaking the first generation, also a big thank you, Munchy Munchlax.
Excelsi use of speech games or no?
Dude, we'll get to it, man. Let's just read this first, okay? So, Game Freak's finally giving fans their wish for Pokemon Sword and Shield. We traveled to Game Freak's headquarters in Tokyo, Japan, to get the behind-the-scenes story of these games. We spoke with game directors, producers, and planning directors, and art directors, picking their brains on the direction of the series and what they hope to accomplish with the upcoming Switch title. To celebrate the occasion, we have 3 different covers, which you can see below. So they got these Game Informer covers, whatever. So here we go. In our conversation, we talked about the decision to base the Galar region on the UK, the new Dynamax mechanics, and why it took so long to make a mainline game on the consoles. And yes, we got into why some Pokemon didn't make the cut for Sword and Shield. In addition to our huge cover story, you'll also be able to get exclusive interviews, videos, and features during our month of coverage. Check out the trailer below and come back to our coverage hub often as updates are added regularly to the GameInformer.com/Pokemon section. Okay, as always, that's not what we have in store for this issue. We have an extensive. That's not all we have in store for this issue. We have an extensive behind-the-scenes look at the making of blah blah blah. Okay, that's unrelated. Persona, blah blah blah, da da da. Then let's see, adding throughout the month. Okay, so let's go through the actual stuff here. So first things first, Sword and Shield's max raid battles could be amongst the most challenging encounters. First of all, that sounds great. I'm gonna be honest, that actually sounds great. Personally, I'm very much excited for the potential of seeing a feature in a Pokemon game that doesn't just go through, you know, simply, right? I mean, like, that isn't just kind of like, you know, you can just easily get through it. Like, a feature where, you know, actually there is a challenge to it is something I'm excited for. And if they're saying this, this seems interesting to me. So I'm not sure if we can actually read the article. I am actually not certain about it. Actually, we can, so that's good. So we can actually read the article. So let's do that. I'm gonna see if we can open up all the articles, like how many of them are actually behind a paywall and how many are not. So they're gonna be sharing some other stuff here. Let's go to the right here, the autosave. So that's also available, so we can read about that. There's also the Pokemon making a cut for the national decks will return in the future. So that's good information. HMs are not in Sword and Shield. Fair enough. EXP Share is baked into the Sword and Shield game, so it's not an item anymore. EXP Share isn't an item or anything like that. Sword and Shield have mechanics to let you use your favorite Pokemon competitively, and also Pokemon Sword and Shield digital issue is now live. You can check that out. And there's more info being dropped at the moment. So Cerebi is actually, I think, dropping some of this information right now. So we're gonna go through those and see what they're all about. in a second. But let's start from the beginning, though, shall we? Which is definitely going to be this part right here. So let's start from the beginning, guys. So Sword and Shield's max raid battles could be among Pokemon's most challenging encounters. Now, Pokemon Sword and Shield are introducing a myriad of new mechanics to the series. One of the biggest new additions is the ability for Pokemon to grow to massive proportions. While this is most prominently on display in battles through the Dynamax and Gigantamax mechanics, players can also challenge powerful giant Pokemon in cooperative max raid battles. We spoke with the developers to learn more about these encounters. Initially, the max raid battles were called something more generic like cooperative battles, but following Pokemon Go's implementation of co-op raids, the word was entered into a vocabulary of Pokemon fans across the globe. The initial concept of having cooperative battles against a Pokemon as a raid ID, let's see, ID came before raids were even implemented in Pokemon Go. But we saw Pokemon Go implementing this raid feature and how popular it was for people to get together in the same space and enjoy these cooperative experiences. Director Shigeru Mori says, I think there was some influence like how in Pokemon Go you don't need to be a hardcore battler to enjoy the raid battles. Fair enough. It's really easy to invite friends. We wanted to have that element in Sword and Shield's raid encounters as well. Now, while Omori likes the idea of not having to be a hardcore battler to enjoy these raid encounters, planning director Kazumasa Iwao cautions that you shouldn't expect to walk right in and take down the highest ranked beasts. I think some of them are going to be pretty difficult, Iwao says. I think it's going to be kind of difficult. We haven't seen in a lot of the main series Pokemon games up until now. There is a wide spread of difficulties even in max raid battles. Much like raids in Pokemon Go, max raid battles are represented by a ranking system. In Sword and Shield, they're ranked by stars. The more stars a max raid battle has, the more difficult it is. It starts out a little easier, then you can choose a difficulty based on how powerful your Pokemon are, Iwao says. Even me, for me, a seasoned Pokemon player, even if I go with one of the 5-star max raid battles, I can definitely run into situations where I'm not able to win. Now, we'll learn just about how difficult these encounters are when Sword and Shield launches on November 15th. But yeah. So there's actually more stuff. Exclusive coverage is also here. There's also this. So Pokemon Sword and Shield have mechanics to let us use your favorite Pokemon competitively. Now, this is interesting, right? I don't know about you guys, but this sounds pretty freaking sick. If you can actually, like, if there's something in there to make it easier for us to actually, you know, like, be able to use all Pokemon in the game competitively would be actually pretty sick. So, let's see what it's all about. So, Pokemon Sword and Shield have mechanics, etc., etc. The latest entries in the Pokemon series are making several tweaks to the franchise's long-running conventions. From introducing Autosave to getting rid of the EXP Share item in favor of an automatic solution, Sword and Shield changed several things about the standard play of a Pokemon game. While Game Freak was open about a lot of the behind-the-scenes information surrounding the development of Pokemon Sword and Shield, the team was a bit cagier about a new battle mechanic it could only tease. Traditionally in the series, you start with a starter Pokemon, and then you catch a lot of Pokemon in the beginning, and those are with you throughout your adventure, and the players get attached to them. But a lot of times they get into competitive battles, and they find that they can't actually use those Pokemon, and they're not competitive. So they go out and find the exact right Pokemon or breed in a certain way to make sure they're viable in competitive battles. Planning director Kazumasa Iwao says, this time around, we really wanted to introduce the system that helps the players be able to take those Pokemon they caught in the beginning and the first ones they chose and actually take them straight into competitive battle. There's a lot of hidden parameters to Pokemon that aren't surfaced to the players. We're doing a lot of stuff in the back end, introducing systems that allow players to make sure that Pokemon they want to use in competitive battles are viable. Now, that actually, to me, sounds pretty honest. Like, this is actually a pretty cool, like, thing to know that they're looking at this sort of, because I know we all, like, kind of memed at them, and I memed at them when they were saying, like, they were trying to make the competitive scene actually a lot better, but this is the sort of stuff they should have told us from the beginning. The only issue right now has been that we haven't known about any of this stuff up until now. They've really kept this stuff hidden. They've given us this information early on. I think more people would have dropped a lot of their negativity about the game, and the whole National Dex situation wouldn't even have been as big as it is. I know now, I don't care about the National Dex at this point. I really do not, because there's enough here to make me excited. 18 gyms, okay, that's just insane. So let's see. So when I asked Iwao for more details, he says he can't explain the system further, but he does go on to tease it a bit more. I've got to be very vague about it. But one example, it will be visible to the player, and they'll know when they see it. I think, say you have a Pokemon where it's got all the right stats and everything, but there's a personality parameter as well that comes into play in battles, and it might not be the right personality. So you'll breed until you get the right one, is what people do currently. But you'll see that there's a system in the game that'll fix that for people. All right, while it's no longer necessary to do so, Iwao says players can still put effort into breeding to come up with a perfect specimen for competitive battles. So that's great. So they're making a system where you can still use Pokemon that aren't bred properly, right? You don't need to breed your Pokemon properly, but at the same time, listen to this, right? At the same time, you can also still do that. You can literally do that still. This is amazing. This is literally amazing. So you don't need to like do breeding to get a good Pokemon. You can use Pokemon that you just want to use that don't have the perfect statistics and all that stuff, or just, you know, aren't like these perfect specimens, but you can still use them in competitive play. This actually sounds freaking amazing. This is awesome. So, we do think there's a value in effort players put into, he says, the players put into it. But at the same time, I think Sword and Shield, we wanted to also have a system that makes it a little bit more accessible. For example, if you're bringing a Pokemon over from a previous game into these games, being able to use a specific Pokemon that has a sentimental value to you in the battle system competitively is something we wanted to try this time. For more on Pokemon Sword and Shield, head to our hub by clicking the banner below. So they have more stuff there. Now, next thing, EXP Share. So Experience Share is baked into Pokemon Sword and Shield. So during our trip to Japan and Game Freak this cover month, blah, 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 we learned a ton of tidbits about Pokemon Sword and Shield and what went into the making. According to director Shigeru Mori, Pokemon Sword and Shield does away with this item, aka the EXP Share. However, when we followed up with Mori about whether that means we need to train up each individual Pokemon, he confirms to us that every Pokemon in your party gets equal experience automatically as you progress through the game. Now, this revelation occurred during our filming of our rapid fire video interview, which you can look forward to later this week. For more on Pokemon Sword and Shield, head to our hub by clicking the banner below. So apparently, we don't know, like this is one I'm a bit worried about. I do hope you can turn the EXP Share on. I know I'll be using EXP Share even if it's you know, turn on and off, right? If you can actually turn it off or on, I would still use it in my first playthrough just because I don't want to just do grinding and stuff when I'm trying to play through the game, you know, kind of like just breezily try to get through it in the first day of gameplay, which is what my plan is. But I do plan, if I'm gonna do like a second run, to turn it off because I'll be doing like challenge runs and stuff, and I don't want EXP Share on. So I'm just thinking like in that sense, like how would, you know, I don't know, man. It's a strange one. So, I don't know, EXP Share a little bit iffy. Now, next one. HMs are not in Pokemon Sword and Shield. So, this is something we all kind of predicted and knew. Now, since the start of the Pokemon series, hidden machines, or HMs, have been a staple. These special moves, which could be taught to multiple Pokemon, then used in battle and in special circumstances outside of battle, were replaced in Sun and Moon with Ride Pokemon. During our trip to Game Freak's Tokyo headquarters for this month's cover story, we asked about the role of HMs in Pokemon Sword and Shield. According to the planning director, Kazumasa, HMs did not fit into the philosophy of Pokemon Sword and Shield. I think they played a role in the series traditionally to be like the relationship between a door and a key. The HM will unlock something and you're able to progress and feel the ability to go to a new place, he says. We didn't have them in Sun and Moon, and this time around, we didn't feel like they really matched the concept, especially with the wild area and wanting to have this higher degree of freedom. The player can kind of choose how they want to engage with the gameplay. Having the more HM-based elements, we didn't feel it really matched the game. So this time around, they're not in it. That actually, to me, sounds fair enough. I have no issue with that. That actually, to me, sounds fair enough. Not a problem, not an issue. I think it's a reasonable thing to do, right? Next thing. So, Pokemon cut from Sword and Shield's national decks will return in the future. Okay, so fans are eagerly anticipating Pokemon Sword and Shield, but some of the biggest news coming out of the summer was regarding what won't be in the first mainline Pokemon RPGs games, which is during E3, producer Junichi Masuda explained that not every Pokemon will make the leap into Pokemon Sword and Shield. Now, this news left many fans disappointed, so I caught up with Masuda during our trip for this month's cover story to dive deeper into the reasoning for the cuts. Now, according to Masuda, the sheer number of Pokemon the main series has accumulated over the last 2+ decades got to the point of being unwieldy. Up until now, we've been proud we've been able to include so many Pokemon in the games, but as a result of that, there's actually been quite a few features or gameplay IDs that we've had to abandon in the past. He says, going forward, thinking about the future of Pokemon, we want to prioritize all those new gameplay IDs, new ways to enjoy the game, want to challenge ourselves and Game Freak to create new ways to enjoy the games. They really want to draw the decision for this new direction. Now, the decision was the result of a collaborative talks between Game Freak, the Pokemon Company, and Nintendo. We have a lot of awesome new challenges that we haven't even revealed in Sword and Shield, Masuda says, so that's good. They have more stuff in there, okay? They have more stuff in there. We want to continue to come up with these new features, so we figured this was the best path forward for the franchise. Now, things are a bit more complicated when diving into how the team decided which Pokemon wouldn't carry over into the Galar region. A wide variety of discussions happened. It's not just one kind of criteria for deciding which Pokemon is going to appear in the games, but a lot of different reasons, a lot of different directions, and a lot of debate over which ones would be the best in the games. Masuda says, I think one example of that is figuring out Pokemon that would make sense for the setting of the game for the most. These Pokemon look like they could live in the Galar region. We really spent a lot of effort deciding which would best fit the setting of the adventure and features that we wanted to implement. I think players will be satisfied. There's quite a few Pokemon that you'll encounter in the Galar region, so I think players will have fun seeing all the Pokemon. Now, When I asked for specifics about the Pokemon that didn't make the cut for Sword and Shield, including names and total number of creatures, Masuda did not elaborate. However, he was much more explicit when I asked if cut Pokemon will return for the future. Definitely, he says. You can look forward to seeing Pokemon that don't appear in these games appearing in different regions in future games. I think Pokemon Home for a lot of players will serve as a launching pad to gather them there and then embark on future adventures. Now, Pokemon Home has been announced, but details have, to this point have been scarce. Masuda intends on keeping that off keeping it that way for a bit longer, but he did offer a bit more insight on the upcoming app. We're really designing it as a place for all Pokemon, for all of your Pokemon together. So it's really important for the future of the franchise. It'll be more important than Pokemon Bank as a place to gather all your Pokemon together in one spot. Now, we'll have to see more about this, etc., etc. Okay, next thing, introducing autosave. So, during our trip, etc., etc., normally as you perform a trade, you need to stop and save, but instead, Game Freak figured out a way to incorporate seamless saves into the wild area. When you connect with them to actually trade or to do some kind of interaction it then seemingly switches to the synchronizical connection, Omori says. It also is saving in the background, which is something we previously didn't do. So there's quite a bit going on, and there's that is represented in the wild area. So basically, autosaves are in the game, guys. Autosaves in the game. At the mention of the saving in the background, I asked Omori if it happens throughout the rest of the game, and if it's only restricted to the wild area. It's a new feature we're implementing, full autosave functionality, he says. Traditionally in Pokemon games, it's an important thing to write your report to record your save, and that's always been a staple. Like, remember to save your game. We do have an autosave feature this time, but we can just adventure and constantly save the game. For those who don't want Pokemon Sword and Shield autosave, fear not, you can turn the feature off and stick with traditional save method where you can pause the action and manually save. I imagine that this will come in handy for the encounters with difficult to catch legendary Pokemon. However, Omori says that the process might also feel a bit different on Switch. I think Nintendo Switch, compared to previous consoles, it's actually a bit harder to restart your game, he says. Like, on the NES, you'd have a dedicated button to reset the whole thing, but with the Switch, it's a little bit more complicated of a process. For Pokemon Sword and Shield, we'll get more. So, that's one of the things, guys. So let's see if there's been anything else since then. Now, I'm not really sure. So, the digital issue, it's not, like, you can't actually check it. I guess there's going to be more about it later on. Let's check Cerebi right now. Let's just check Cerebi. Let's refresh and see what Cerebi has to say. So, here's what we have so far, guys. So, they have revealed the auto feature, of course. Also confirms the HMs do not return. EXP Share is automatic without the use of any items. And also, interview implies more aspects of Pokemon previously left to breeding, hinted as a personality parameter, which will be changeable in Pokemon Sword and Shield. And, of course, ladies and gentlemen, lest we not forget, according to Game Informer, there are 18 different gyms in Galar. They're split into major and minor leagues. Now, somebody else actually talked about this, which is your boy, Poke Experto. So let's go to Poke Experto, because he's been tweeting about all this stuff. Let's just jump over there real quick, just to see what he has to basically post about it. So here we go, guys. Let's just take a look at it. Here's what it says, guys. So Pokemon Sword and Shield will have 18 gyms, major and minor league. The gyms are in different leagues depending on the version. So here's what it says, guys. According to director Shigeru Omori, the gyms are split into a system resembling major and minor sports leagues. There are 18 different types of gyms in the story depending on the version. Which gyms are in the minor league and which gyms are in the major league are different, he says. For example, in Sword, the fighting gym will be in the major league, but in Shield, the ghost type will be in the major league. The idea is that, oh, that is interesting. But the idea is that every year the Galarian is playing and which gyms make it into the minor league versus the major league. So this is amazing. This is literally amazing, dude. This is literally the best thing they could have done, bro. 18 gyms, major league, minor league. This is amazing. Cole, thank you for the $10, man. Welcome to the stream, bro. Listen. We read through everything now. This is fantastic. This is literally fantastic. I don't even know how I can't even explain how happy I am right now. You guys,
rough. I didn't know you were streaming.
Oh my god.
To see what's going on today. Lol.
You guys don't understand. My hype levels are actually like I think my brain's going to implode on itself. So those who are watching this in video format, those who are watching this as a video, I want to give a big thank you to you guys. Make sure to drop a like on the video if you guys did enjoy it. Let's get 1,000 likes. Let's get 1,000 likes on this as a video. Those who are watching the stream, drop a like on the stream as well, guys, if you want to. But yeah, so we're going to end the video part, but we're going to keep the stream. So if you're watching the stream, don't leave. We're going to keep streaming, guys. We're going to stream for another 3 hours. I'm not stopping. 3 hours of streaming. We're going to talk about all of this. But those who watch this as a video format, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you all in the next video. But yeah, stream, keep staying. Everybody watch this. Thank you so much. Leave a like. Have a good one.